In this video, we're going to look at implementing the selection sort algorithm in MATLAB. This is a simple sorting algorithm with the following algorithmic process. We'll start by traversing through an unsorted array from I to n. We will then set a minimum index value to be the element at index I. We will then iterate through the array again, but this time from j is equal to I plus 1 to the size of n. For each pass, we will check the minimum index value against the j element. If the element at j is smaller than the element at the minimum index, we will then set the minimum index to be an index of j. At the end of the first nested loop, we then swap the positions of I and the minimum index. So let's jump into the code. We'll start by defining an array as being a random integer values between 1 and 20 with 1 row and 20 columns. And we will define our function that returns an array. We're going to call it selection, and we're going to pass into it an array. We'll start by saying n is equal to the size of array in the second axis, and we'll say for I is equal to 1 to n, we set the minimum index value to be equal to I, and we say for j is equal to I plus 1 to n. If the array of the minimum index is greater than the array of j, we say that the minimum index is equal to j. Now once this loop has been completed, we need to swap the values around, so we will say that a temporary variable is equal to the array of I. We will say the array of I is equal to the array of the minimum index, and the array of the minimum index is equal to the temporary value. So let's say the sorted array is now equal to the selection of the array, and let's just uncomment these so we can see the output. And there you go, you can see this unsorted array has been sorted in ascending order. We can make this a descending selection by adding a mode. If the mode is equal to ascend, else if the mode is equal to descend, we'll say if the array of the minimum index is now greater than the array of j, we set the minimum index to be equal to j, and we end this loop. So we now come to our array and we can say descend, and you can now see the array is sorted in descending order. So to visualize what is going on here, we'll first define our index as being equal to 1 to the size of the array 2. And we will create a figure 1, we will clear the axis, we will hold on, and we will create a points variable which will be a bar graph of index array with a face color for each of the bars as blue. We will turn the axis off, and we will say the y limit is equal to 0 to the maximum value in the array. And then we now have to pass in our points variable to the function, and after we have upgraded this temporary variable, we can just say that the points.ydata is now equal to the array, and we'll perform a draw now. We will pass this points variable into the function, and you can see the sorted array. We can increase the size of the array so we can visualize this a little bit better. So you see the selection sort in descending order and in ascending order. And so we know when the array has been sorted, we will just say that the points.face color will be changed to be equal to green. And there you have it. So that about wraps up this tutorial on the selection sort algorithm. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.